All right. Good morning. Happy Monday to everybody, and welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. Today is November 8th, 2021. And as always, welcome to another week in the stock and equities markets. We have a lot to cover, so we may as well get started. So, first and foremost, as we often like to do, let's take a look at our SPX expected move for the week. As a recap, we often use this to understand what the option market is pricing in for the SPX or the S&P 500 index each and every week. And contextually, we like to look and see what has been the pattern or the repeat performance for the market in previous weeks. As you can see, I've left a lot of these expected moves previously marked. And the option market has been doing a fairly subpar job of capitalizing or capping the upside risk inside of the SPX week to week. We've seen multiple tests of this top end expected move, and we've even seen some short-term breaches, as we saw last week, where the market closed approximately 1.5 times the expected move to the upside, leading to a bit of an indecision day on Friday and lots of volatility that followed. Now, as we enter this week, the option market has expanded volatility very slightly. The SPX closing at approximately 46.97, and with an expected move of about 62 to 63 points, we've gone ahead and marked the top side and the bottom side of the expected move at about 47.60 and 46.35 respectively. So what does this mean? Obviously, marketplace has been trying to expand volatility amidst a very bullish sort of gamma squeeze type related move to the upside in a lot of key underlyings. And so far, it has been doing a decent job midweek, but we're seeing slight breaches to the upside near the end of the week. And this has been continuing for approximately 1 month. Now, for this week, we are seeing that slight volatility expansion. We can actually see it inside of the VIX, forming a bit of a double bottom approximately at the 15 level. And we did actually see some volatility bid on Friday. Fairly rare occurrence. Usually you see volatility contraction into a Friday session. The opposite occurred on last week's session. So short term, we might want to pay attention. Volatility is starting to show some potential for a possible volatility spike event. And ultimately, if you're needing a hedge, this is where a lot of people like to consider putting on that short-term hedge in order to protect any sort of downside event. As well, since we continue to see topside breaches, the marketplace is essentially advertising to us that it's in a period of inefficiency. We often talk about inefficiency from the intraday perspective, the idea of balance and value moving into excess and imbalance. And in the option market, things are somewhat similar. You'll often have periods of stability and remaining within the expected move. That is often going to be referred to as balance in the option market. And then you go into periods of imbalance or excess, usually seen by these breaches. Now, as we all know, there's been a few key stocks leading to that imbalance, one of which has been NVIDIA. We've seen massive gamma type related moves to the upside driven very significantly by the option market. In context, looking at an auto expected move, you can see that these breaches have been significant in terms of how far the expected move predicted that week relative to the actual price movement. We're talking 4 to 5 times sigma type moves, and often these moves are going to end in an interesting fashion, just as they have been sparked to the upside. Last week being approximately a 5 to 6 times sigma move. It's also worth mentioning that another stock which holds massive market cap for the NASDAQ has been another key underlying leading to the bullish momentum. That, of course, has been Tesla. We've talked about this one pretty much week to week as we're seeing technical breakouts. We're seeing lots of continuation. We're seeing that gamma exposure and how significantly risky it can be to the upside. But short term, the last 2 sessions have put in these quote unquote isolated pivots, these moments in time where the market is not continuing and in fact is starting to stall. Usually in a normal environment, these would be great risk-defined areas to take the opposite trade, basically to ensure you have risk protection to the upside by these levels and using that information to try and fade a strong move. Now, what occurred over the weekend has been more of a catalyst for these pivots. So it's a bit of an interesting setup here, but we are seeing the effect of sort of that all tide shifting in one favor and then the opposite effect occurring with specifically the CEO of this company, Elon Musk, tweeting that he potentially will want to take some profit on some of his underlying holdings of the company. So whether or not that comes to fruition in some larger selling event, or if this simply is just a drop in the overall uptrend, we'll yet to be seeing what that takes effect on. But from a technical sense, we have lost our sort of short-term moving average support. Here I have the 1 hour 50 acting as sort of that key level prior to recent pullbacks. And additionally, if we're looking at just a daily perspective here, we are very far removed from our trend line. So if this sort of sets a top for now, just understand that there are some downside levels. And if the selling does continue, those levels can just as easily be targets for some sort of fade or short-term downside play. Now, what makes this interesting on the larger market perspective is what we talked about last week. Tesla holding approximately a $1.2 trillion market cap as of last Friday. And for a company to be moving with this type of volatility, as seen by the option market, we're looking at something like 90, we'll just call it 80 to 90% implied volatility. The movement of Tesla is what makes it so interesting, whether it be to the upside or the downside. Essentially, in order to match the net asset effect on the overall stock market, you basically need larger market cap companies like an Apple or a Microsoft to be moving with higher market cap, but at slower relative speeds. So for example, the likes of Apple, which really hasn't been moving too much to either direction, is only holding about a 25% IV. When you look at its market cap, though, it is double Tesla. So when you sort of factor in the market cap relative to the implied volatility, and more specifically, the historical volatility, what actually has occurred over the past 5 sessions, for example, then you'll know that while Apple has remained flat and yet carries much more market cap, Tesla's movement has been dictating a lot of the activity inside of things like the SPX and the NASDAQ. You can also think about it in terms of Microsoft, which actually has been breaking out to new all-time highs. Very similar market cap to Apple, but notional movement here is still within sort of that 25% IV. So it can take basically twice as much movement for Microsoft to match the volatility expansion of a stock like Tesla, even though it is double the market cap. And that's sort of the underlying risk factor of the market right now, is how quickly that one company has been moving, regardless of the direction it has chosen. Obviously, it has been to the upside. So in a market like this, what is very challenging is basically to capitalize on risk, essentially to protect yourself in the event that you are wrong. Because one, we're having very quick and dramatic movements, and two, these movements are often outside of probabilistic models. Basically, they're expanding things like option expected move. They're obviously expanding things like ATR or standard deviation type studies. And all of this leads to heightened volatility. We're not necessarily seeing it in the SPX, which is very interesting, but short term, we've seen it in underlying stocks. It's been notable from an intraday perspective. If you've tried to short any of these names, you know how painful that can be. One, if you're too early, and two, if you think it is going to, it's basically hit a top and you're wrong, you know how painful that can be. So keep all this in mind as essentially the market continues to do this until it doesn't. We don't really know how much more upside this market wants to price in. And while things are very extended on both the SPY, you can see that we're coming back into our sort of trend line that existed prior. We're actually sort of topping out, at least from last Friday, on this trend line, along with our NASDAQ, which has already hit a top end channel. Bring it to a 3-year weekly, take out our phase score. You can see this top end channel. Yes, we've broken out from it, but the risk to reward here is skewed to the upside. The idea is that if this fails, our risk is similar to what we've seen on previous channel attempts. Basically, if we get the false breakout here, market downside might be pricing in something much larger. So short term, just kind of keeping your risk factors in check, knowing what the market is throwing out, and understanding that the risk to reward at these levels starts to become more attractive for downside fades. We haven't quite seen the exact setup for that yet, but you can see how just shaking up one stock like Tesla can easily sort of break apart the momentum very quickly. And with a lack of support on the move, the downside can be just as attractive as we've seen to the upside. So obviously trying to play both sides of the fence. That's what we do as traders. And knowing that even though we're extended and even though that we continue to break higher, the market may have sort of that downside play in the next couple of sessions. Okay, so shifting into some of our other areas of interest, bond market continues to bid higher. We saw that initial FOMC reaction on Wednesday, selling pressure, big engulfing type candle. That has been completely reversed in the short term, leading to a weekly extension or ignition type candle. We're obviously seeing some short-term continuation. I'll be watching this 150 level on the TLT. Notable inflection point in the past, lots of oscillation back and forth, and just a key psychological number to pay attention to. That has led to downside activity in things like interest rates. Of course, our 10-year with the TNX and our 10-year ZN, the actual futures product for that index, seeing a 2-day bid on Thursday and Friday, and just kind of watching to see how significant is this low going to be. Let me pull back to a 3-year. We're back at some previous range support, previous breakout and pullback hold, i.e. support zone, and seeing the same reaction here, albeit a bit slower to form. So market kind of throwing some interesting signals. I think a lot of people were expecting the more notable reaction from FOMC discussion, i.e. they were looking for that inflationary spike. Short term, we're not seeing it on the chart, so we definitely don't want to have the bias at this time, as the market has not given us that confirmation. But in regards to some of the assets that have performed, we actually are seeing some possible interesting setups across more inflationary sectors and industries that have been spiked to the upside with additional news. For one, we have Pfizer, which came out Friday with its oral pill that can help with hospitalization and conditions of COVID. We're also seeing the sort of counter reaction in companies that were competitors in this space, the likes of Merck seeing a pretty significant gap down, closing relatively weak on the session. But across the board, new areas of interest are starting to form. The travel sector, if I look at something like Delta or just an ETF like Jets, large gap ups on Friday, high volume gap ups, and more notably, closing near session highs, basically keeping the gains from the gap up, which may show a bit more conviction than what has been seen at the 200-day moving average, basically a change in sentiment or a shift in where the focus is going to be. So that occurred in both Jets, a lot of our cruise lines, CCL, NCLH, and RCL. Very notable gap ups to take advantage of. Likes of companies that have reported earnings and are more in the travel, leisure, aka sort of a resurgence back into normal conditions. Airbnb with very notable earnings and gap up reaction on Friday. And then the opposite side of the fence, the stay at homes, along with the earnings reaction of stocks like Peloton, which have not only been on the decline since last year, but if we pull it back to our weekly perspective, we're seeing levels that we haven't seen since the beginning of basically COVID. So definitely want to watch and see how this stock forms moving forward. It was a key player for a long time, but the momentum has been shifted to the downside. And these are notable moves. Just like we're talking about Tesla and NVIDIA to the upside, these are, of course, spiked by earnings, but their expected moves are exceeding all, levels beyond this. Basically, these are 3 to 4 times sigma moves in the wake of earnings. Not even that sort of volatility can cap on the risk to the downside. So, okay. So last but not least, some possible swing ideas. We talked about this one briefly in the BBT chat last Friday. Saw some interesting option and volume activity on that Friday. That's going to be our MSOS, otherwise known as sort of the US cannabis space. The idea here is that this ETF holds a lot of multi-state operator companies that currently are not uplisted in any significant exchange. They're essentially listed on the over-the-counter market, but this ETF does provide sort of uplisted exposure. And of course, with every ETF, a bit of diversification and therefore a bit of direct company exposure and risk. Now, we did have a bit of a catalyst from this spike. I'll leave it to you to do the due diligence on that side of things. But from a technical sense, we are coming from an interesting zone back in time. We're seeing this rally, reaccumulation, new high, aka a breakout level. And while we've seen this before, this was a pullback into new high. This was a 2-week sort of hold at this level. This obviously did not change the weekly trend, and of course was faded by the sort of negative bearish sentiment in this space for a long period of time. What makes this interesting, though, is we are seeing the highest volume from both a weekly perspective in recent weeks, but more or less from a daily perspective. Very significant shift in volume profile here, along with the fact that this is showing the early signs of a possible daily trend change. The idea here is that every time we make a new low after a recent lower high, we often want to just watch and assess how the market responds to this. Essentially, from this low, we pulled higher, we made new lows, and now this spike has broken the previous low and also the previous back test before the final low was made. So if a trend change is to occur, we'd ultimately want to see obviously this candle break higher, along with some possible short-term trends which are starting to form. Something like a 1 hour can be a guide. You can see that we're already starting to form that possible bull flag near the highs, albeit this one will probably take some time to reverse trend. So as far as swing ideas go, trying to present them early, obviously getting a game plan together, using whether it be shares or options to consider entering into this market. And with options, I kind of like the idea of something known as a risk reversal, where you're essentially selling downside premium, something like a cash secured put, a put credit spread, or just something with that defined risk to the downside, and using that premium that's collected to facilitate a more long biased approach. Something like a call credit spread, as simple as just using calls or shares. And then, of course, if you're playing a bit more fancy, you can even look at stuff like back ratios, where you're still collecting call premium to facilitate more speculative long exposure out in both time and in price. So however you decide to even enter this market, if you choose to do so, it is an interesting setup. A lot of people sort of view this as possible capitulation. The idea that the market has been selling since all-time highs and has retraced 100% of the move, with that final low on Thursday seeing rising selling pressure, and then the eventual reversal occurring on more notable buying volume, aka the capitulation effect. That can sort of change the trend short term and lead to the short covering rally, which would be the eventual spark of this market. So something worth considering amidst the many notable names that are coming out with earnings this week. For those, we can go to our market watch. We can simply look at some key names, the likes of PayPal, Palantir and Coin, Dash and Neo on Tuesday, Palantir before market, the final three after market. Also BNTX, which has seen a lot of volatility with the high correlation to mRNA. mRNA saw both downside pressure after earnings and then additional selling pressure with some of the news related to Pfizer. This may be starting to form sort of a short-term bottom as things are getting a bit extreme, and you can see what occurred on Friday, the very simple sort of bullish pin, albeit it is a bit early to call it a complete reversal at this time. So, excuse me, something like BNTX coming to the daily 200, high correlation to mRNA, but of course, as we discussed, earnings coming out on Tuesday. And then, of course, down the list, one of the more interesting names that I have on my watch, likes of Disney. Now, you may not necessarily group Disney in the same category as a reopening stock. I think especially because a lot of people have been watching Disney from its Disney Plus subscribers. And that is going to be an interesting dynamic for this company moving forward, as it is a known competitor to something like a Netflix, which most people would group more stay at home. But if you look at Disney's chart on Friday, it tells a bit of a different story. There's actually an interesting gap up and so far a decent hold of some of those upside price levels. Be remembering that Disney ultimately has a lot of theme parks, a lot of travel related areas of interest. And if there is a resurgence back into these names, specifically with Disney coming into earnings, this may be a bit of a catalyst for this stock to rally. So going to be watching this one both this week and more specifically into its earnings announcement. Definitely want to keep that one on watch. But as we move into the last bit of the week, PDD, and pretty much nothing on Friday, we'll shift into our S&P. Nothing really on the S&P 100. And if I look at the NASDAQ 100, PDD as well on Thursday. So there are some different names reporting. They're not necessarily going to be in our key indexes, but these names are day trading candidates. We also have a lot of new sort of interest in charging EV stations. You're going to see a lot of that on the gappers this morning. The infrastructure bill, which continues to be sort of a news cycle catalyst for certain sectors. A lot of steel stocks are actually gapping up this morning. So the list goes on and on. There's too much to cover in a 30-minute session, but the idea is very simple. Remain focused on areas of interest that you are good at, whether it be trading, investing, or even just that short-term movement. Be watching those key stocks, Tesla specifically, and some of the correlated action in stocks like Lucid, which have been seeing some interesting breakouts and moving into key gap zones prior to this stock being listed as Lucid Motors. So watching those key levels to see how they react and if they can enter these sort of voids of price levels for continuation. And then finally, putting together some thesis plays this week. We have a lot of stuff to watch, a lot of stuff to monitor. Everything is moving pretty fast. So, the more work you're doing on the sidelines, I think the more prepared you'll be coming into each session. But all in all, just understand that we're getting so much volatility that any shift in those areas can lead to significant risk. Essentially, know what you're getting into, know what your downside looks like. Using options, of course, a great way to sort of mitigate that. But if you're just in the share realm, starting to understand how to be building positions if we do see significant shifts in the overall sentiment of sectors. So that's pretty much it. There's too much to cover. I almost feel a bit excited with how much to look at this week. But as always, trade safe on the intraday session. There's going to be plenty of stuff on the gappers list today to focus on. So try and narrow it down to those one or two names you're really good at capitalizing on and take the trades that you're used to. I guess last but not least, we'll cover a bit more industry-wide type sectors throughout the week. We'll look at things like crypto, which Bitcoin is on the verge of another all-time high breakout. We have a lot of our alts already at all-time highs. So that'll be up and coming this week. And then finally, we'll kind of see how things shake out with these underlyings. Is there going to be a momentum shift into reopening plays? And is that going to be another sort of gamma or above and beyond expected move breakout for this market to take advantage of? So stay tuned. We'll kind of see how that plays today, and ultimately look forward to talking with y'all more tomorrow. So stay tuned for pre-market prep, and we'll talk more then.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had an incredible weekend. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm doing well. Your gain or something is up quite high. I don't know what it is, if it's just your levels or your game, but
Yeah, let's check.
it's a bit
Let me see.
abrasive.
Am I bringing this down a little? Oh, yeah. See,
There you
it
go.
was
Right
way
there,
too
right
high.
there. Yeah.
You could hear my heart pumping. Okay, there we go. Is that better?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys, welcome. Good morning, guys. Let's get to it. Let's see here, our gappers list this morning. But before we do that, guys, let's give Jared a big thumbs up. It's a lot of information he's putting on here every single morning, very early on, and he was even on before 8 with our members in our chat there. Sharing information. So
Came on
appreciate
like
that.
45 minutes early this morning. I think that the time change must have him screwed up. He got up too early. He's ready to go.
It definitely messed with him. When I came on, I heard him talking. I'm like, wait, am I late? I double checked the time. And did I mess up here?
Oh, damn,
I thought he already had started, but no, he's up and running early. So thank you so much for that, Jared. Appreciate you, man. So big thumbs up over for him. And let's get to it, guys. Our gappers list this morning. It's a lot of stuff on here in the gap up today. A lot of weird tickers, and usually that means some funky type stocks. We'll see what's going on there, and we'll see what's on the gap down list as well. So looking forward to today. Let's get to it right here. Let's remove our watch list from yesterday. Actually, before we do that, any interesting news, Norm, happening with the SPY? Anything overall this morning?
Absolutely. Jared talked about it, but the infrastructure bill that had already been passed in the Senate finally got through the House. So that is done. There's the larger other package that's being talked about. That's kind of a pipe dream at this point for anybody. But the original one that was passed, it was passed in like June. It's been a long time. It's been sitting stalled out in the House. Finally got pushed through. So that is pumping a lot of this stuff, having big moves here. Obviously, we're in the middle of earnings season. We have no economic data today, but a lot of this stuff is moving on. You've got that bill happening after markets close and everything Friday over the weekend. Everything's popping this morning from, we've got steel stuff. You talk about roads, Caterpillar, you need equipment. And then all this green charging stations, power, those kind of things on here, electric vehicles. Bitcoin's popped this morning, probably inflationary concerns because of that bill passing. So in addition to other things going on in that space. So you've got a bunch of Bitcoin plays in there, and then then we're right in the heart of the earnings season as well.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happening, guys. Because should be a very interesting day and week. All right, let's get to it, guys. Let's remove our watch list from this would have been for Thursday. I did not trade Friday, by the way. It was Friday. I was in New York Stock Exchange, man. What an experience.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, dude, it was so much fun. Just the history in that building and everything's going on, seeing all the brokers and it's just incredible. It was really nice, really nice. We got some pictures that we put up already. We got some more that we'll put up maybe today. But definitely an experience. Maybe later in the chat we can talk a little bit more about that. I know Thor did already the tour, and that was a whole lot of fun. So let's get to it, guys. TTD this morning, they are up 22%. We traded this before. Trade Desk, the Trade Desk, right? We traded it, or at least looked at it. I know it can trade a little bit funky. They're up 22% this morning, man. Rocking it. Was pre-market? Yeah, pre-market earnings. Yep.
Yeah, they had earnings this morning. They trade a little thin, I mean, from my experience, but they've definitely got volume today, so it should be better than it usually is. But just watch out, because that spread, I mean, it gets spready. It's 30-ish cents here and there, so...
I remember it being a little thin as well. I mean, the volume today is great. We'll see how that goes. But even with the 1.6 million, right, you can see how a little bit of spready, choppy it is at the moment. So hopefully that can get better at the market open. But
definitely, this is one of that if you were to choose to trade it, you definitely want to keep your share size in mind, and you don't want to put your stop too close because it'll just chop you up.
We'll chop you up. Take a look at that spread before you get in as well. Make sure there's nothing ridiculous there. BLTA this morning, they are up 20%. I don't like the pre-market action on this one. The daily's a little funky as well. It looks like they're having earnings coming up on the 10th. So not yet, but they're popping up this morning probably on some
charging
news there.
Charging stations.
Oh, wow, look at this.
Like we discussed.
This is charging station. All right, we got better ones to trade than this one. And talking about that, I think CHPT is one of them, and they tend to be a whole lot cleaner. I'd rather put this one on my list. We have traded this one before in the past, so CHPT will be the one I look at when it comes to charging stations. Norm, is there one that you like
better than that? In this space, I'd rather take Blink, BLNK.
Blink, Blink is another good one. Yes, BLNK is another good one as well. We'll put this one on here. Actually, it looks a little bit better, actually. Yeah,
34% short interest.
Okay. Yeah. Does look very good. Up 17%. Pre-market action looks, although it has less volume, looks better than CHPT right now. So this looks a little bit more choppy. Yeah, I agree with you, Norm. This one does look much, much better. I'm going to put CHPT as a possible. It still can trade well, guys. I mean, they got the volume, but Blink does look a lot cleaner this morning. We'll throw that on there. EVGO. This is, not sure, EV company probably. Blink is the way to go, guys. This one it doesn't look as clean. I got Blink. I got CHPT as possible.
This is charging again, so
I'm going with Blink and CHPT.
It's all in that same.
Yeah. IonQ, we talk about this a lot. I always forget what is this again, IonQ? I know we spoke about it before in the past. They've been just ripping, guys, here on the daily, and just, again, up another 13.4 this morning, 1.2 million shares traded. Looks like on Friday they had a beautiful breakout, guys, above 17. Let's see how that traded. The day looks great, but you come in here, it's not as great. They did end up well for the day, but again, just seems a little bit crazy. Maybe a possible, guys, on this one. IonQ. We'll throw this one here for now. PTRA, this one up 12.7, 980,000 shares traded. Man, the daily looks a little funky on this. Volume is extremely light. I mean, today they're trading more than half the volume, in some cases more than what they do on a regular basis, and even the pre-market's not looking great. So I'm a little bit concerned how clean this is going to be. I'm hoping to find something better. Going to put these guys as a possible for now. We'll come back to them. BGFV, today they are up 11.7. Not a great pre-market action. Volume is very light, and man, look at this thing. Look at this chart. 26 to 31. 31 to 43, right back down on Friday, and now we're up again. How is this thing trading in the actual intraday? What's going on here? Let's back up. Let's back up.
Do I hear you backing up?
You like that, right? I got these new sound effects that when I say keywords, it just does this noise. It's amazing. You guys should check it out. No, it- the guy next door, and I feel for him because man, he took this older house from a couple that lived there for years. Great neighbors. His wife passed, and his sons sold the house. And construction during this time of the year, guys, with COVID, it's killing him. He had to stop several times. He couldn't get materials. He bought this house like 9 months ago. And as he gets parts, he puts everything together, he does construction, then he stops for like 3 months. It's just been so brutal for him. I feel so bad. But he's doing an amazing job. He's making that house real nice. So you're constantly hearing that right there. BGFV here, guys. This one, again, no, this doesn't look good. This is Friday's action here. This doesn't look clean to me, guys. I'm just going to pass on it. If it gets better, definitely throw it back out to me, but I'm going to pass on it for now.
So much good stuff today.
Yeah,
we don't
exactly.
need this, include this garbage on our list.
Exactly. Bit F. No, Bit F is no good. BB, B big here. No, we can find something better than that. I want to keep Mara on deck. I know Bitcoin, as we were talking earlier, a lot going on there. So we'll keep Mara on deck. You can look at Riot is on here. You can look at HUD. You can look at BB, BTB. Anyone you like, whatever your favorite is, pick that one. I'm gonna go with Mara. They tend to be the cleanest one for me personally. Guys, we'll stop here. Man, look at this list. We'll stop here. Gapping down TH. This one is dropping down 40% this morning. What a huge drop here, guys. This is getting just killed. Is this a Bitcoin? What is this? Oh no, it's not. It's I thought it was ETH or whatever. But this is eHealth. So eHealth getting destroyed this morning. I love the drop. I just don't know how clean they're going to trade. Is it earnings?
It's earnings. They trade. It's a good drop. They only trade 500,000 shares a day on average. Not even that. So it's a little concerning. See how the volume holds up. But see.
My concern with this drop is a little they're down 40%. The move might be over by the time the market open. It just might be too extended to go any further down. It's just too weak to pop up. We've seen that sometimes, right? Possible for now, might not stay there depending how things go here. Here's jobs, and they are down 24%. I don't like the pre-market action on this one. Big drop, but notice the difference between this pre-market action and this pre-market. And who we're looking at? We're looking at this one here, EHTH, right? Much cleaner pre-market actions, a lot more happening here than there is on jobs. So I'm gonna skip on that one for now. Piton just getting destroyed, man. Wow, Piton, look at this thing here. We dropped down huge. It's funny, we saw this on the New York Stock Exchange on Friday. We're watching the thing and they were showing, oh my god, it was just insane. And here it is, guys, down 5% this morning, 792,000 shares trade. So getting crushed, definitely in play.
So bring Piton back up if you would. So Friday, I didn't have power for a while. I missed or was it Friday? I missed the no, it was the pool. Sorry, the pool was earlier in the week. Yeah, it was kind of a nutty week around here. Anyway, the pool. So, but I was keeping an eye on things. It was just super loud around here, and I was watching Ed's room, and we got this big gap down on Piton, and somebody asked, do you think it can close the gap all the way back up? I was like, no. It's like it looks weak to me. And my only point in saying this, and I'm not trying to call anybody out or I was right or anything like that, is that just because something moves a long way doesn't mean it can't move more. Never forget that.
Yes.
If you have that mindset, it'll kill you. It'll kill you. So anyway.
Agree 100%. You just don't know, but
Chag is a good example of something that looked so extended when we started the day, and it was an all-day fade. CHGG earlier in the week when it had earnings, it might have been Monday or Tuesday. I mean, look at that one solid red candle. It never bounced. It never came back, and it's continuing to fall. It might be good for something now, but just you can't go in that with that mindset. I think it was 50% red that day and still just bled all day. Anyway, all right. So can I throw a couple out to you now?
Yeah. I was just looking at Tesla. This looks good.
Yeah.
We're gonna add it on here.
It's on an Elon tweet. I don't know how much that's actually going to do.
It's always fun.
Oh yeah, especially when you're insulting senators.
Dude, insane.
let's see here. All right, I got 2 for you. PPSI.
Yeah. PPSI.
That's a low float of the day.
There we go.
And then AMC. Now I'm going to break a rule of mine, but I'm going to explain myself. AMC has earnings tonight, and whenever somebody says, "Hey, blah blah blah," because it has earnings tonight, no, that's not a good catalyst because it has earnings at some point in the future generally. But considering this is a meme stock, I have a feeling this one might run into earnings, or they might try to mess with it and get the apes or the diamond hands or their astronauts. I don't know. So
I agree 100%, guys. And it looks good. It looks good on the daily. Pre-market action looks good. It's got the volume. I'm with you on this one, man. Definitely one to watch. It might not do anything, but I hear you. These meme stock, especially this one, can be so explosive. And PPSI, as you mentioned, this is a beautiful pre-market action here, guys. What's the flow on this? What are we looking at? PPSI?
3, I think.
3. 4 million here, guys. Moving very well. Be careful with this one, but man, this is, if you want to trade a low flow, this is it right here. This is looking very nice, guys. 9.9 million, up 70%. Any news on it, Norm, or just
power? They're getting in it's charging stations.
Oh, charging station. Okay, moving very well there.
Charging stations, all that. Yeah.
Gotcha, guys. We got a whole lot here. We'll take it to the room, guys. Before you send your tickers over, let's make sure. Few things we want to do here, right? Because we got a whole lot. We wanted something that looks better than what we have already, right? So we just don't want to go through a whole bunch of lists of tickers just because they're moving. You know, you can't watch 20, 30 tickers. We want to watch about 4 to 6. So it's got to look better than what we have here. It's got to have volume. And if it has a catalyst, even better, right? Get the trifecta going. But let's see if we can get something good here that can replace some of the stuff we already have on deck. And again, there's so much to look at today.
The one thing I'm confused about, did you look at BBBY?
No, I did not.
Was it garbage or no?
No, we didn't look at it. No.
That might be interesting.
Wow, Friday. Look at the moves this thing is doing. I remember this one here. Friday comes back up, and now we're just kind of sitting here. Yeah, it could be interesting. I agree. More of a possible right now, but it definitely what's causing this move on BBBY. They don't move like this.
They came out. I mean, I think they gave some updated guidance, and then there were some other things that were like 4 things that happened last week. They had that big pop, it sold off. There was a partnership with Kroger. It's a meme stock, it's a share buyback. There's like 4 or 5 things that just have moved it all over the place. Citron Research, exactly. I mean, there's like 50,000 things going on all at the same time. So
gotcha. Will be interesting to watch. Volume has increased, of course, in the last 4 trading days, including today's already. See where this goes. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's start Roberto. We'll start right there. You're giving us Lucid today. Lucid this morning. I actually typed Lucid, LCID. Let's do that instead. There we go. LCID this morning. Great daily, guys. I love this daily here. For a continuation play. That's a nice ABCD pattern, breakout pattern of 41.25. Looks good. Volume 5.5 million, man. Ooh, yes. Let's put this up here. Let's make some space right up here.
I mean, this has multiple catalysts as well. Yeah. Speaking of things with a whole bunch of stuff going on. I mean, you've got the infrastructure package impacts these. The first deliveries a few last week or whatever. So.
This is nice, guys. Real nice. Great day on Friday, too. We missed this, but nice breakout there.
You also have to consider somebody that bought this on Halloween-ish or the day before Halloween is up double.
Yeah. Just like that. Oh, wow. Yep. Good one. Thank you, Roberto, for that one. And a few people mentioned that. Thank you so much. John, PFE. Let's take a look at again. PFE, it's in play, no question about it. It has 1.8 million shares traded. It was up nicely here. Has been dropping the last couple of hours. I'm just not a fan of this one, so I'm gonna watch something else. But that my BBT coin fell. But that is definitely in play if you have space for that one. No, that would break the floor. That thing is so strong, man. Thank you, John, for that. AUTL guys here. Ivan, you see, this is going to be a no for today. Yeah. So, no, this is not going to be good for that one. It's just too choppy right now. We can definitely find something that's trading a lot better this morning. NEO. Neo this morning looking good. Let's see. Neo, you know, with all the EV stuff, this might be a good secondary. It's not looking great. We've seen better action from Neo. We've seen better pre-market activity for sure, but I believe it's better than some of the pre-market stuff we have here. So yeah, I'll throw that on there. And today with all the EV stuff, the batteries are doing better, the charging stations, but this one could have some secondary moves there. CAT this morning. This one is tough to trade, guys. It's very thin on the volume. Price action could be funky. I personally don't like it. You know, I don't think I ever traded it.
I've traded it. The only time it actually trades well is if you have a pretty decent catalyst and you happen to get, you can get an all-day grind on it in one direction or the other every once in a while. Other than that, for the style, for instance, that Andrew trades, this would generally not be a really good trading stock for that.
Yeah. And I just think we have so many other ones that are looking very nice this morning. Jeff, let's take a look at your secondary one, F here. F has a beautiful daily, guys. A nice little breakout going on here. The volume is actually for X. This is not bad. 709,000. That is not bad. I like the breakout. If we can get some direction here, it would be nice. I'm adding here as a possible because I know it can beat some of the other ones that I have in here. Like EH, TH, we're probably going to take this one off and we can keep Neo and X instead. McAfee's another one that again, this company is horrible. It trades so bad for intraday trading, guys. It's on a halt right now due to news pending, so maybe that would be fun. Let's wait for the news to come out. If it hits our scanners, we see something great on it, we could trade it. But even then, this stock is bad. It's real bad. CCL. Thank you guys there. A few of you guys throwing CCL out this morning. Okay, we got some volume of CCL and some movement today. And more of the reopening plays we've been talking about, right?
McAfee's a buyout.
It is? All
I
right,
believe so. Yeah.
That's not going to be fun, guys. And again, it's just a brutal stock to trade. T, let's take a look at Plug here. Plug is moving 570. We're up 5.5. Guys, we have so many. I'm going to add Plug, and we might need to stop here. Because again, today's going to be one of those days where our list could look completely different and you can have a blockbuster list. It's just so much to watch, but we might need to stop here. I'm going to pick off a few from YouTube, and then we'll stop here. We'll go to announcements. Disney, unless they have earnings, I don't think there'll be a good one today. Unless they have some kind of good catalyst this morning. Pre-market earnings. Pre-market earnings today. Okay. They're up 1.6, 170. Even with the pre-market earnings this morning, I think that we have better stuff here today.
Yeah.
Like Piton, guys. Look how beautiful that thing looks. That is nice. Cannot wait to see how that's going to trade. Pre-market action looking beautiful on that. So I don't think there's no space for Disney this morning. PTIX, we've seen this before. No.
Disney doesn't have earnings.
Earnings, yeah. Is it earnings? Yeah. I believe Disney.
No.
November 8th.
Disney has... No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Earnings
My
has
mistake.
the 10th after close.
My mistake. I left it here on a different ticker. Yeah. That's my mistake. Disney. Yeah. So yeah, then we're gonna look at that one. Guys, PTIX. Someone sent that one in, but this is no good. No, this is penny type stock, no volume. American Airlines.
No.
American Airlines looking okay. You know, some of these travel companies. You know, American Airlines. Throw that on here. MetX. No. Mike, we don't really look at these penny type stocks, so no, that's not really our bread and butter here. PPSI, we looked at PPSI. It's down here. It's more than Norm gave us that one, man. It is
getting a 6.
Norm, are you in this?
I was earlier. I traded it before we ever. I traded it a little bit before we ever started the show. I didn't make much on it. I made a few bucks. Start my day green.
Gotcha. It's not bad.
I think I was out of it before I even took my son to school today. So
very nice. Guys, this thing is cranking, going through 6 like nothing there. It is, wow, this is really good today. Guys, I don't think we need to go any further. Let's stop here. Let's go over to announcements. We'll come back and fine-tune this list, which is not going to be difficult to do today because we got so many great things happening. Let's go over to our community events and announcements. I just want to make sure I have the most up-to-date one. I downloaded it. Make sure it loaded here. And it did not. So Nora, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to load this up. As I'm doing this, guys, please hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We appreciate it very much. It helps the channel a whole lot. Thank you for that very much. All right, so just loading up the new announcements. And today is Mindful Monday, so we will have CRADA as well right after our community events here this morning. So, all right, loading up. We'll get this.
I like this,
one.
Roberto. PPSI. No, it was Ravzilla. PPSI reminds me to check the air in my tires. It's true. Just hope if you trade it, it doesn't have a blowout.
Yes, exactly. Oh man, that's a good one. Okay, here we go. Yep, that's the most up to date. Perfect. All right, let's get to it. Right over here. Oh, let's start from the front. Would be nice.
All right, quick weekly rundown. Generally, we have Brian's swing trade discussion 2:30 in the afternoon on Mondays. And then Monday nights at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., we have onboarding and technology with Carlos and then Kyle. Tuesdays and Thursdays, noon with Eamon. Trade reviews. His schedule might be a little bit off this week. I know he's got some travel and some other things going on that he's got to take care of. So he might not be around as much as normal. And then success webinars Tuesday night, Wednesday night, psychology webinars. Thursday is our mentoring with Andrew, generally at 11 and 8 p.m. with Thor. And then Friday is Jared's crypto session at 11 a.m. All right. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, you've got Mike going to be talking about how to find your trading strategy to meet your trading goals. So, every strategy, everybody has a different personality. Everybody has different needs and wants out of their trading. Some people have an intention to try to make a constant income stream out of it. Some people want to build a portfolio, not withdraw from it. You might have all kinds of different ideas, and different strategies can either be beneficial or detrimental to that. Mike's going to be talking about how to find what strategies are best for you. And then Eamon next week, 5 p.m. Note the special time because of his time zone, is going to be talking about how he trend trades. Speaking of Kreda, who we'll be talking to in just a moment, she's going to be talking about building $1 million mindset. And because of her time zone, that'll be this Wednesday, November 10th, 5 p.m. Eastern. Next week, we will have Nada, and I know there's a misspelled word here. It's fixed on the site now, but I didn't have the ability to get this fixed before I put this together this morning. She's going to be talking about mindfulness, improving conversations you have with yourself. Just a reminder, all of the super chat, super sticker revenue will be matched dollar for dollar by Andrew. And for November, all of that will be donated to the Fisher Center for Alzheimer's Research Foundation. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day, post it on Twitter with entries and exits, and add as much commentary as you can. Tag at Bearable Traders, at MikeB_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use the hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading, and Stock Market. We'll pick a winner each afternoon and announce it on Twitter for Trade of the Day. And then all those trades of the day are eligible for Trade of the Week, which is voted on by the team over the weekend and announced on Monday. All right. If you are watching on YouTube and haven't been in the chat, you'd like to give it a shot, you can do so with no obligation to continue on and only be billed once. Use the promo code PREMARKET24. Go to the homepage, bearabletraders.com. Scroll down until you see that Test Drive Now button. Click that. Use that promo code PREMARKET24. It'll get you a discount. Get you 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. Does not recur. It will only bill you the one time and then cancel a week later. And if you would like to become an elite member, you can take advantage of our largest discount we've ever offered and biggest one of the year that we ever do is the Black Friday discount. So you'll get 45% off the annual elite membership and also get a month of DAS Simulator on us. Good morning, Kreda. How are you, ma'am?
Morning, Norma. I'm all right. I have a bit of a cold, so my voice is a bit funny today. Apologies.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry to hear that. Hopefully, oh man, I can't even talk. So at least you're a little stuffy and I can't get my words out. But hopefully you had a great weekend. I know today, you did post on Twitter, and guys, if you aren't, Credit, can you remind people of your Twitter handle in case they are watching us and not following you?
Sure. Yeah. It's at Creda_perform. So at CREDE_perform.
Wonderful. Yeah. Be sure to follow her if you're not already. But because, for instance, last week she tweeted out asking for suggestions for her piece. And one of the common things that she got was talking about discipline, sticking to your rules and such, which you can have great strategies, but if you can't be disciplined and stick to your rules, you are for lack of a better term, screwed. So sorry for the harshness there, but there's no other way to put it. Anyway, Creta, take it away.
Perfect. No, I'm all for harshness and serving up hard truths. So it's all about that, the psychology side of things. So yeah, thanks for everyone who sent in or who answered that tweet with what you wanted to hear more about. And there was a common theme in the tweets, and it was actually this idea of people wanting to be able to stick to loss limits, having patience to wait for A+ setups, and basically just having discipline and respecting their rules. And so I thought that would be a really good topic to talk about because it's so important in trading. And it actually is the essence of the mental edge. So if you think that the technical side of trading is all about understanding what you need to be doing. So when you're, choosing your strategy and you're testing it and all of that, you're figuring out what you need to be doing to make money. The psychology side of it is actually helping you to do that, to execute your plan. And so anytime you're not executing your plan is probably most likely something on the psychology side of things. So when someone has a specific issue and they're not sticking to their trading rules, so maybe you're not being patient enough to wait for A+ setups, or you're not respecting your daily loss limit, or whatever it is, then it's most likely something in the psychology side of things that's happening. But it all boils down to not sticking to your trading rules. And so that is discipline. That's really what we're talking about. But there's a bit of a misconception that with discipline, you need willpower in order to have discipline. And that if you can just summon up enough willpower, you'll be able to stick to your rules. And I want to bust that myth because willpower just doesn't cut it. It won't help you here. So the answer to those questions that people have asked is quite complex and individual for each person, but we can address it through the lens of how do you better stick to your trading rules. And there's a few different things that are important when we're talking about discipline. So one is having structure. So the first two are easy wins or easy things to implement. So the first is having really good structure. So having excellent goals, having a good trade review that includes the psychology aspects so that you're holding yourself accountable and you're tracking over time whether you're sticking to your rules, and if you're not, what else is going on for you. So getting a really good structure around that will actually go quite a long way to helping you to create more discipline. A second thing is the idea of habits. So the more that you can automate good habits, the easier it is then to free up space in your brain to actually focus on your trading. So that's a bit of a more complex issue because you have to get into what habits are helpful to you and all of that. But simple things like structure and habits will help you a lot in sticking to your trading rules. But the one that I want to focus on today is the idea of your subconscious mind. So anyone who's in the BBT webinars will hear me talk about this again and again. And it's so important. So the reason why willpower doesn't help you in sticking to your trading rules is that your subconscious mind actually controls 95% of your behavior and your conscious mind only controls 5%. So when we're talking about subconscious and conscious, the conscious mind is the mind that you are aware of, where, if you want to plan something for next week, if you want to solve a maths problem, whatever, it's all available there in your mind and you can draw on that information quickly and use it in your day-to-day life. Your subconscious mind is a lot deeper than that, and the information in your subconscious mind is not easily accessible. So you actually have to find a way to communicate with your subconscious in order to understand what's in there. But most likely, if you're not sticking to your trading rules, this probably applies to, I would say, about 99% of people. There's something in your subconscious mind that is actually causing a block for you. And so what happens is, if your subconscious scripts, so the things that sit in your subconscious, so they might be limiting beliefs, so things like I can never make money, I'm not a good person, if I have a losing trade, it says that I'm a failure as a person. All of these blocks that can be in our subconscious, if they're running as scripts in your mind, it doesn't matter what your conscious mind is planning to do, because your subconscious is 95% controlling your actions and your conscious mind is only controlling 5%. So your subconscious mind is always going to win. So if there isn't alignment between your subconscious and your conscious mind, it will play out in your trading. So you'll find that you're not sticking to your trading rules. And so trading is just another arena where our own psychology, psychological issues and limiting beliefs plays out. It also plays out in our money mindset, in our finances, plays out in relationships. So you can tell from your behaviors in your trading, if you're not sticking to your trading rules, there's probably something in your subconscious that is not aligned with what you're trying to do. Obviously, that takes a lot of effort to go diving into, and there's lots of different ways you can do it. But I just wanted to give people some quick questions to reflect on here in order to actually try and start you on the process of uncovering those beliefs. So the first one is ask yourself what emotion is driving this behavior. So when you think of the rule that you're breaking, whether it's being too impatient, jumping into trades too soon, not waiting for the right setup, ignoring your daily loss limit, moving your stops, whatever it is, ask yourself what emotion is driving that behavior. And obviously do this away from your trading station. So not while you're in the middle of trading. This is something you would reflect on outside of a trading session. Ask yourself what's driving that behavior. So what emotion is behind it? Then ask yourself, what might your subconscious script be that's behind this emotion? So let's say you take a loss and that results in you revenge trading. So maybe the emotion is anger. So you get really angry that you've suffered this loss. You feel like the market's being unfair to you, and that triggers you to revenge trade. So then ask yourself, what might be in your subconscious? What's the subconscious script that's behind that happening? And in this example, it could be something like, life is unfair. I always get the hard end of the stick, or something like that. And so you feel that you have to actually work harder to rectify the situation. So therefore you go and you revenge trade and you're trying to get back at the market. That would be an example of how that might work. So ask yourself, what's the emotion that's driving the behavior? What script might be in my subconscious that is contributing to me feeling such an emotional response to something that is just, part of trading. And because it's your emotional response that will actually cause the next actions that you take. And it's those next actions that you take that will determine the success of your trading day or not. It's not necessarily the first mistake. It's what happens after you take the first mistake. And then lastly, just ask yourself, what meaning do I ascribe to this event? So if it is that you struggle with taking a loss, ask yourself, what does it mean? Or what do you say to yourself when you take a loss? Are you beating yourself up? Do you think it says something about your self-worth as a person? They're just examples. There's obviously tons and tons of different ways that this could apply to you. But if you ask yourself those questions, you'll start to actually get that bit deeper into your subconscious, and you'll start to understand where your subconscious mind might not be aligned with your conscious mind. And then the ultimate solution is to do some work to shift those beliefs in your subconscious. So that's quite a deep answer to those questions, but hopefully that just gives you even the first step on the path to unpicking this for yourself. And just to put this in a different context, that's a bit even more concrete. If you think of the whole diet sector and, health food industry, diet industry, it's multi-billion-dollar industry. But actually, what's behind a lot of people not sticking to their diets or not losing weight would be the same thing. Some script in their subconscious that is not aligned with what they're trying to do consciously. And so really, if people spent less money on fad diets and spent more money on therapy, they'd probably get better results. So, and I'm not saying that in a light way. I think that therapy is fantastic. It develops self-awareness, and I really think everyone can benefit for it. So this is a deep answer to what might seem a very simple thing, and you might be frustrated why you can't fix it. But actually, give yourself a break. Your subconscious mind is probably running the show, and trying to stop that with willpower is like trying to just stop the tide with your two hands. So you just need to bring your subconscious on track, in alignment with your conscious mind, and then you'll find it much easier to actually stick to your trading rules.
Kreda, thank you. Awesome discussion as always from you. And I just want to remind everybody that Kreda has her own playlist on our YouTube channel now as well, that we're taking all these, clipping them. It takes a couple of days to get them up. So if you want to go check it out later, you can always do that. But once again, fantastic discussion. Really appreciate it. You've had wonderful feedback in the room and on YouTube about it. And anyway, take care. We'll see you in a couple of days.
Cheers, Norm. See you.
Thank you very much, Creator, for that. Guys, let's give her a thumbs up. Appreciate her coming on
Carlos,
Yeah.
We're going to have to reset audio now that we've got Creta.
Something's up.
We've got that bit over with. We've got an issue in the room, guys. So you want to do your side? I'll reset the bridge real quick, and then you can take over and do levels. Give us just a second. I don't think Andrew's going to be with us today. I'm guessing he's out traveling, but I'm not 100%. Don't hold me to that. Oh, hang on. They're saying it's working now.
It's good?
I haven't done anything. I don't know if you did anything.
I didn't do anything neither. So, all right, we'll take it. We'll take the freebie.
There you go.
All right, guys, let's get to it. Guys, thumbs up over on YouTube. Again, we appreciate so much great information every Monday and Wednesday by Creator. So we appreciate her very, very much, guys. So there was a question on our YouTube here asking, what's the difference between the small account chat room and the main account? And it's just a different trading style. Ed is an amazing trader, but he trades different than a lot of us moderators do. So
I actually spent 90% of my week last week. Now there's a freaking ad running in the middle of the YouTube stream for me. I don't know why that's doing that, Carlos.
Weird,
we got to fix that too.
Yeah.
So anyway, I spent 90% of last week in Ed's room. Just wanted to get a feel for it. Wanted to make sure he didn't have any problems. Everything else, and it was. I mean, it's just vastly different than the techniques that we use over here. And we call it a small account room. Mostly, the reason for that is because he specialized. He started with a very small account, and Andrew trades a massive account with massive buying power, which. A good example, he dug himself out of a really bad hole that somebody with a smaller account wouldn't have been able to do so. I mean, it wasn't good trading, and he'll be the first to tell you that. But it would have crushed somebody with a smaller one. So, he came over here. We wanted to find something he specialized in. It doesn't mean you have to have a small account to trade those styles, but, he's very quick to lock in profit and make sure he has a mindset of building and building and building. So anyway, great perspective over there. He has different watch list kind of stocks. Take a look when you get a chance.
Yep, absolutely, guys. So here's what the chat room looks like. Again, different layout, different type of information. And I always say, guys, once you find out what you're good at as a trader, everybody's different. You could be very, very successful. But the hardest part is finding what you're good at. Not everyone's going to trade like me. Not everyone's going to trade like Norm or Thor or Mike or Peter or John or even Andrew. Everybody's going to find their different style that they're good at. So we have this extra room. Go check it out. You never know. Okay? So we appreciate Ed being here with us. Appreciate that very, very much. All right, guys, let's get to it. We have a big, big list. So many tickers this morning. We're going to start from the top here. We're going to fine tune this very nice. Today we have TTD here this morning. This one, again, although it's for me, I'm going to move it down as a possible. And the reason for that is because it can be a little light as far as volume. And I think we just have stuff that looks much, much better this morning. So I'm going to remove it from my list. Blink is good, guys. We'll keep an eye on that one. Mara is the Bitcoin stock I'm going to watch today. People keep bringing up BTBT. Guys, that's a good one too. I think it's in play. But just look at the difference between this one, BT, and look at Mara. Right, let me show you Mara here. Right, look at just the daily alone. It's night and day. So I'm gonna go with Mara. They tend to move a little bit better. I'm gonna keep them. Piton, guys, amazing. Getting a little bit of a bounce here. This is looking great. Tesla's in play. I'm not gonna watch them. I mean, there's just got so many stuff going on here. They're a little expensive, over 1,100. That price action could be a little bit weird. They're in play, but more of a possible. AMC staying on deck, guys. Beautiful pre-market action. Lucid this morning looking good as well. Looking very good. And then we have Plug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Guys, this is a blockbuster list right here. Let's reduce our secondary list here. Starting from the bottom, we have X is okay, Neo is all right. 8, I'm going to remove this one. I think it's just it's going to be too extended. We might not get something to clean out of this one. And the spread right now not looking great for a $26 stock. That's going to get better. My concern with this one though, if you're thinking why are we dropping this one off, it might be too extended. You might just get chopped at the market open, right? So I'm just going to watch something else. Ion. I always type this one wrong. I did last time too. This is Ion Q. let's see how this is looking right now. Ion Q right here, great pre-market action, guys. You got great volume here, great daily. We'll keep that one on there. CHPT is okay. BBBY, it's just, these all are great possibles. I'm not going to touch this list. We'll leave it like that. Let's just focus on our main list this morning. Here's Blink, guys, looking good. Let's get some levels in here. High of the pre-market over at 37.37. That's a good one there. Towards the bottom, we do have a level here at 34.39 on the daily. Price action right now kind of stuck between, it's right at level, I believe, right on here. This 35.60, great level on the daily. You can see that here and here, a couple of touches on there as well, so we'll keep that on there. And then towards the top here, we do have, let's go over here. We have some levels on here as well. It's a good one right on here, guys. Great level of support. Look at the support you're getting there. A little bit of resistance right over here if you move back before June there, and then you got more levels up here. So I think we're pretty much set here on BL and K. You know, let's do one more just in case. These are just too clear. Let's just mark them down. 42.94 and 44.40, just in case we're going to be explosive today. I mean, these stocks are hot right now, right? Here's Mara, the one I prefer. You can watch BTBT or other ones if you like, but this one is the one I prefer. You know, and looking at it now, the pop is good. 8.7, but it's not great compared to like a Piton, AMC, and Lucid. This is not great. So I'm just going to move it down. I'm going to look at this list later after I hop off the pre-market prep here. I'll fine-tune this a little bit more, my secondary list. But just focusing on the main list here, we have some amazing stuff. Piton definitely on our list this morning, looking very good. Look at the range you're getting here, the drop after such a big drop on Friday, maybe a possible continuation there. Down 3.6, 52.67 is the low of the pre-market. Towards the top, you got highs and lows from the last two trading days. Well, the last trading days, before that, you were all the way up here. So you're pretty much set as far as that. I want to get a level towards the bottom, right? If we lose this 52.67, we are running away from it now. But if we do come back, we can see it. Where do we wait? Oh no! Is this all-time low? Oh, okay. I'm about to say, wow, that would have been really bad. But no, they've been lower before, of course. Here, we do have a nice level of support and resistance. It's 49. Might be 49.50, 49.48 there. Great area of a lot of resistance and a nice little breakout there. That's good. I got a couple of days after that breakout struggling here to get above 51.27 back then. Let's keep an eye on that. But as far as price action levels, everything, you're pretty set on Piton. Definitely in play, guys. Look at the volume. Look at the rejection we're getting here off this moving average at 54. Let's see where that is going to go. AMC, guys, this one could be explosive, as we know. High of the pre-market, 43.09. Towards the top, 44.25. It's got a good level there. And look at that 44.25. Great area of recent resistance right over here the last 2 days. The last two times it got up there, great rejection. Let's see what we can do now. And if you look at the prior to that, you have a great area of support and resistance as well. A lot of days opening, closing right around that area. If we were to break out of that, the next best level I see here on the daily is going to be 46.33. Towards the bottom, guys, pretty much cover highs and lows from the last two trading days. So here is Lucid this morning. Very, very active, guys. Great day on Friday. Possible continuation. This stock has been so strong. I mean, just look at the daily on this. A couple of really big breakouts, including Friday here. Possible continuation today. 44.19 is the high of the pre-market. And if we move to the left here, we had the madness at the beginning of the year. As you guys know, this thing went crazy. Levels as far as that 50, 51. Up here, we're going to mark down 54, maybe 55 there. You can come into this trading day here and get levels off of that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep the ones I have for the sake of time. Looking good towards the bottom. We do have low of the pre-market at 40.02. And then below that, guys, you have plenty of levels, highs and lows from the last two trading days. You're pretty much set there. Here is Plug this morning, stuck between the highs and lows of the last two trading days. So as far as levels, you're looking really good there. We do have the high of the pre-market over at 40.62. I got a level above all the levels up here over at 42.89. And I think you're pretty much set. I don't think you need to add anything more to Plug. Has been trading very good after 8 a.m., guys. Look at the range you're getting here and the movement, 725,000 shares traded. That is looking very, very good. So like what's happening there. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup. I'm curious to see what they have on here because it's just so many stocks that are in play today. Looking forward to see what our moderators like this morning. Let's bring this over. All right, we have our list. And we're gonna hop over here. Let's see what we got going on. All right, so this morning we have Mike looking at Facebook, Nvidia. Tiffany's looking at Piton, Lucid, secondary list, Tesla, TTD, and Mara. Dima is looking at Apple, American Airlines, X, and Plug. All of those looking very nice this morning. We haven't looked at Apple. We'll look at that one if we have time. Actually, we might not. Let's see if any other moderators are getting their list already. So over on YouTube, I asked you guys if you are getting ads in the middle of the show. If you are, we're going to try to fix that. We do not want that. So some people are, some people are not. So that's interesting. But if you are, you shouldn't be. Norm just got one, and that's annoying. So we'll try to get that out of the way. See what setting is causing that. Peter is looking at AMD, Lucid, TTD, secondary list PPSI. Guys, that is a low flow. Be very careful with that one. Tesla, Apple on his secondary list, and then his watch. Oh, you put it twice, Peter. Oh, you changed it. Okay, so Peter's list. Let's refresh here. AMD, Lucid, TTD, secondary list PPSI, Tesla, and Apple. Brian is looking at PPSI, Plug, LCID, Piton, and also Tesla, Facebook on his list as well. So guys, remember PPSI is the low flow of the day. That thing is on fire. Guys, Brian and not Andrew, but I believe either Thor or Jared, one of the other moderators, will be trading live in the room shortly. So definitely looking forward to that. Take care, guys, over on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you haven't had a chance to do so already, please hit that thumbs up. It helps our channel a whole lot to keep these pre-market shows going on YouTube. So I appreciate that very, very much. Peter's reporting no IPOs, no SPACs coming out today, so that will be completely clean there. So guys, thank you so much. Trade safe, and we will see you tonight for the onboarding class. If you haven't signed up, so you can do so by looking at the link in the chat room, and we'll see you tonight. Mike, myself, John, others will be there to answer questions and give you an inside look of our environment here over at Bearable Trader. So take care, guys. Trade safe. We'll see you tomorrow.